Jai. Tulsi Devi ki Jai. Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Transcendental Bhakti Tradition ki Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. All glory to the sum of devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to the sum of devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to the sum of devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Sri Guru and Gauranga.
All glory to Sri Guru Gauranga.
The lotus feet of our spiritual masters are the only way to contain pure devotional service. Thou art to the lotus feet of all on purpose. By His grace, one must cross the ocean of material suffering and attain the mercy of Krishna. I only wish I would have my conscious of God by the words emanating from His lotus mouth. Attachment to His lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From Him ecstatic frame my enemies. By Him ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing of His character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, have mercy on us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. Your fame is spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter of your lotus feet. Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. I know. He had 35, but it was the wrong chapter. It's classic mistake. He hasn't been doing it that long.
Well, it looks like we may have to go back to the lavalier. Somebody broke the mic stand.
Again? I mean, they have another one. That one, lounge. Is it lounge? The last time it was lounge. There's two in here. There's the third one that works. Okay, so let me see.
I'm checking the lounge.
Second lounge. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry. This one here. Go through. All right, just give me the idea. The moving hand is. This isn't going, is it? Is it? Think so.
Hold that fan.
There's something going on.
This one?
That's it.
That's the one.
The mic is there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, let's get the money.
The mic's here.
Yeah. Clear it out. Oh, okay. It says the same. It's like an oxymoron. The weakest one, they call it. But there's also the cheapest, only 19 bucks. It's like a 60.
I think the mic and the cord are still allowed to
Cord and the mic, yeah. Oh. Sorry to break up the nectar. Oh, no worries. The nectar continues. You can talk. Grab the drink. Okay. It's your thing. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodananda Bhajajandaram. Yashodananda Bhajajandaram. Yashodananda Bhajajandaram. Yashodananda Bhajajandaram. Yamunatiravancha. Yamunatiravancha. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jai Srila Paramahansa Bhritigacharya Ashtotar Shri Srimad Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Bhritigacharya Ashtotar Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktabinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. So we don't have a verse today. He wrote the right number verse, but the wrong chapter. It's 324:35. And you have a device. You don't have a device. You look on your hand. Okay. Narayana Namaskritya Narang Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should offer our respectful obeisances unto Lord Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and to Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and unto Srila Prabhupada, the translator, commentator, and our spiritual master. Now, is there something going on out there that we can't open the door? Something going on out there. Anyway, yeah, back to, yeah, that's something going on. A little more. That's good. It's 35, 324:35. Thank you. Nashtaprayasha Bhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktim Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in classes on Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering devotional service to the pure devotee, all that is inauspicious within the heart is destroyed almost to nil, and loving devotion to the Supreme Lord who is glorified in transcendental songs is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. On this 14th day of July 2017 in SanDiego, we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. We are in Canto 3, the status quo, chapter 24, the renunciation of Kardama Muni, text number 35, 324-35. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Proktam Hi Lokasya Pramanam Satyalaukike Athajani Maya Tubhyam Yadavocham Hritam Mune. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Proktam Hi Lokasya Pramanam Satyalaukike Athajani Maya Tubhyam Yadavocham Hritam Mune. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Proktam Hi Lokasya Pramanam Satyalaukike Athajani Maya Tubhyam Yadavocham Hritam Mune. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Proktam Hi Lokasya Pramanam Satyalaukike Athajani Maya Tubhyam Yadavocham Hritam Mune. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Proktam Hi Lokasya Pramanam Satyalaukike Athajani Maya Tubhyam Yadavocham Hritam Mune. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Proktam Hi Lokasya Pramanam Satyalaukike Athajani Maya Tubhyam Yadavocham Hritam Mune. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Proktam Hi Lokasya Pramanam Satyalaukike Athajani Maya Tubhyam Yadavocham Hritam Mune. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Proktam Hi Lokasya Pramanam Satyalaukike Athajani Maya Tubhyam Yadavocham Hritam Mune. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Proktam Hi Lokasya Pramanam Satyalaukike Athajani Maya Tubhyam Yadavocham Hritam Mune. Shri Bhagavan Vacha The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Maya, by me, Proktam,
Proktam,
spoken.
spoken.
He,
He,
in fact.
in fact,
Lokasya,
Lokasya,
for the people.
for the people.
Pramanam,
Pramanam,
authority.
authority.
Satya,
Satya,
spoken. I'm sorry, spoken in scripture.
spoken in scripture.
Laukike,
Laukike,
and in ordinary speech.
and ordinary speech.
Atha,
Atha,
therefore.
therefore,
Ajani,
Ajani,
there was birth.
there was birth.
Maya,
Maya,
by me.
by me.
Tubhyam,
Tubyam,
to you.
to you.
Yat,
Yet,
that which.
that which.
Avocham,
Avocham,
I said.
I said.
Ritam,
Ritam,
true.
true.
Mune,
Mune,
O sage.
O sage.
Translation. The personality of Godhead, Kapila said, speaking to Kardama Muni, whatever I speak, whether directly or in the scriptures, is authoritative in all respects for the people of the world. O Muni, because I told you before that I would become your son, I have descended to fulfill this truth. Srila Prabhupada's purport. Kardama Muni was to leave his family life to completely engage in the service of the Lord. But since he knew that the Lord himself, as Kapila, had taken birth in his home as his own son, why was he preparing to leave home to search out self-realization or God-realization? The Prabhupada says that. God himself was present in his home. Why should he leave home? Such a question may certainly arise. But here it is said that whatever is spoken in the Vedas and whatever is practiced in accordance with the injunctions of the Vedas is to be accepted as authoritative in society. Vedic authority says that a householder must leave home after his 50th year. Panchashordvam vanang vrajet. One must leave his family life and enter the forest after the age of 50. This is an authoritative statement of the Vedas, based on the division of social life into 4 departments of activity: brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. Kardama Muni practiced yoga very rigidly as a brahmachari before his marriage, and he became so powerful and attained so much mystic power that his father, Brahma, ordered him to marry and beget children as a householder. Kardama did that also. He begot 9 good daughters and 1 son, Kapila Muni, and thus his householder duty was also performed nicely. And now his duty was to leave. Even though he had the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son, he had to respect the authority of the Vedas. This is a very important lesson. Even if one has God in his home as his son, one should still follow the Vedic injunctions. It is stated, Mahajano yena gata sapanta. One should traverse the path which is followed by great personalities. Kardama Muni's example is very instructive, for in spite of having the Supreme Personality of Godhead as his son, he left home just to obey the authority of the Vedic injunction. Kardama Muni states here the main purpose of his leaving home. While traveling all over the world as a mendicant, he would always remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead within his heart and thereby be freed from all the anxieties of material existence. In this age of Kali Yuga, sannyas is prohibited, because persons in this age are all Shudras and cannot follow the rules and regulations of sannyas life. It is very commonly found that so-called sannyasis are addicted to nonsense, even to having private relationships with women. This is the abominable situation in this age. Although they dress themselves as sannyasis, they still cannot free themselves from the 4 principles of sinful life, namely illicit sex life, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. Since they are not freed from these 4 principles, they are cheating the public by posing as swamis. In Kali Yuga, the injunction is that no one should accept sannyas. Of course, those who actually follow the rules and regulations must take sannyas. Generally, however, people are unable to accept sannyas life, and therefore Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stressed, Kalau nasteva 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 gatir anyata. In this age, there is no other alternative than to chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. The main purpose of sannyas life is to be in constant companionship with the Supreme Lord, either by thinking of Him within the heart or hearing of Him through oral reception. In this age, hearing is more important than thinking, because one's thinking may be disturbed by mental agitation. But if one concentrates on hearing, he will be forced to associate with the sound vibration of Krishna. Krishna, and the sound vibration, Krishna, are non-different. So if one loudly vibrates Hare Krishna, he will be able to think of Krishna immediately. This process of chanting is the best process of self-realization in this age. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya preached it so nicely for the benefit of all humanity. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnanandjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My spiritual master Srila Prabhupada opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble obeisance to him and all members of Sri Parampara. So now Kapila Deva is beginning to speak, and this is the introduction. This is the last chapter before he actually begins his instructions to his mother Devahuti. And very important statement here at the beginning of this translation: whatever I speak, whether directly or in the scriptures, is authoritative in all respects for the people of the world. So this is the word pramanam. Pramanam is a very important concept for us. Pramana means an evidence, something you take as authority for guidance in your life and for how you understand yourself and the world. Everyone has to follow this principle. When we grow up, generally our parents begin with our pramana. We have to take their authoritative statement. And you're helpless. You trust that they have your best interest in heart. And we go on, and you go to school, and you accept the teachers and the textbooks and whatever. But none of them are obviously absolute authorities. Proof is they're always changing. They keep ripping up textbooks and adding new things, subtracting things. But the principle is there. We're in this world, and what do we know? We have avenues of gaining knowledge through our ears, through our eyes, and so forth, but they're obviously imperfect. We have these 4 defects. And so, certainly to live in the world, we need something that we can rely on, some information we can rely on. When that last leg, remember there's 4 legs in the first canto, when the bull, the symbol of religion, is being tormented by Kali, and his legs are being cut off, and the 3 of them are already broken and cut. And that is the austerity, cleanliness, and mercy. Very, very rare to find that in this age. But truthfulness is still the last leg, and that one you can see, that's going fast. And that going fast. Yad-yadatadati shreshtas. This is one of the things that people are most upset about with our present president, which I will never name. Hopefully I'll never by accident utter his name in these sacred precincts. But I think you all know who I mean. But the fact that he's an inveterate liar, something like he lies just out of instinct, is very disturbing to people, because they like to think at least that they're getting the truth. They're not, but at least they like to think. They're obviously not. So without relying on a source of information, even in ordinary life, becomes very difficult to just live from day to day. Now, what to speak of when we turn our attention toward trying to understand the absolute truth, in other words, eternal verities? How can we live in this world to attain our ultimate happiness? And all of these questions: who is God? Who am I? What is this world? What is the relationship? And how can I achieve it? What is the sadhya and what is the sadhana? That's a question that human beings have to ask. Well, then we need reliable information. And in the Sandarbhas, beginning with Tattva Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami first turns his attention toward that, establishing the Srimad Bhagavatam as the ultimate pramana, or evidence we can rely on. And he goes through others. He said, what about the Vedas? And the Vedas, well, first of all, we don't have them. We don't realize that the Vedas are vast. First of all, they're much larger in the heavenly planets. And even on this planet, we only have partial Vedas. And we also have the lesson from the Bhagavatam in the first canto, Narada Muni's instruction to Vyasadeva, inspiring him to write the Bhagavatam. He had already written the Vedas, but he wasn't satisfied, because there are things in the Vedas that are really peripheral to the question of one's ultimate duty and how to understand the absolute truth. And so Vyasa was dissatisfied, and Narada Muni said, basically he said, you wasted your time. You misguided the people. He's really heavy about it. Because in the Vedas themselves, there's all kinds of this karma kanda section of the Vedas, where there's all these sacrifices. I remember I'm sitting in the class, this modern age, right? I have my little iPad, I've had this for years, or something like it. And I think it was Tirtha Maharaj, he was referring to the Vedas, the Rig Veda or something. I said, what is that Rig Veda? I Googled Rig Veda, downloaded the whole Rig Veda in a matter of 30 seconds. And I started peeking at it, what's going on with the Rig Veda, because I never read into it. And sure enough, the first song or the first prayer, it's all to Indra, glorifying Indra and begging for mercy, begging for some boon or something. Then there's a couple to Agni and like that. And there's a lot in there, for sacrifices and how to go to the heavenly planets, how to get better birth in this world and so forth. Now the thing is, the Vedas, they're authoritative, so people took them as authoritative. But then as time went on, the tendency is, and we have the same tendency, this is the origin of the Sahajiya idea, is that you take certain parts of it and discard the others. And so Narada Muni told them, the thing of sacrificing, there is a thing of sacrificing an old cow, giving him a new life and all that in the Vedas. So they say, see now? And the result is they'll take that, open up slaughterhouses and forget all about it. And this is actually what happened. This is why Buddha came. The Vedas were a problem because people were misusing it. So he had his whole religion without the Vedas. We know the whole story. And then to reestablish the Vedas, first you had to have Shankaracharya bring the Vedanta Sutra in, which is Vedic literature, and then finally Madhvacharya Ramanujacharya Lord Chaitanya, brought it back. But you see how it all keys on pramana. Is that because the idea, Arjuna also tried the same thing at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita. He had this desire, his gut feeling was he did not want to be responsible or to participate in the death of his beloved guru, teacher, Dronacharya, the grandfather revered by all. What to speak of all his friends and relatives on the other side. And so he came up with a Vedic argument for it. He's basing, if I kill them all or are responsible for their death, then the women will be unprotected and Varna Shankar will increase, unwanted population, and I'll be responsible. I'll go to hell and they'll go to hell. I'll just go to the forest. I'll take sannyas. It says right there, you should take sannyas after 50. So he had it all in a row, right? And but he was troubled because he has personified Vedas on the chariot with him, telling him not to do it. So he's conflicted. So then, Arjuna, this key verse, 2nd chapter, 7th verse, where he surrenders to Krishna. And he says, you tell me for certain, you are Shastra personified. Karpan nidosho pahata sobhava, pritchamitram dharma samudacheta, yakshe eksa nishitam bruhitam me shishyasteham shadimam tam papannam. Says, I'm disturbed by all of this miserly weakness, I've dropped my bow, I'm paralyzed here, and I'm bewildered about real dharma. This is the key. We have to recognize we don't know what's best for us. So you tell me for certain, Shreya, how I can achieve Shreya, the ultimate good. I surrender unto you, as the ultimate source of knowledge, as pramana. Now Krishna, and then after a couple of verses, Krishna starts. Then he starts speaking. Before he was starting Kshatriya talk. Give up this miserly weakness. Don't be a eunuch. Get up, and fight. This is like any charioteer would tell any, who's having trouble, But now he said, no, Ashochanam, you're speaking nonsense, because you're on the bodily platform. Now this word appears again, this word pramana itself appears in the Bhagavad Gita, in the end of the 16th chapter. Now the 16th chapter, divine and demoniac. So the whole first 4 or 5 verses, he's enumerating the divine qualities. Goes through, 28 of them, I think. And then it's all about the qualities of the demoniac. Now near the end there, he says, and if one really embraces these qualities, then he gets a hellish destination. And then Krishna has the last 4 verses, which keys on this idea of pramana. And he says, Trivadhamna rakasedham dvaram nashanam apana kama krodhas tata lobhas tasmarita trayanta jade. So he says there's 3 gates leading to this hell that I just described. Lust, anger, and greed. The wise man gives these up. And then he says, and one who does, etava vimukta konteya tamo dvaraishtibhinadaha achadat yatmanakshayas tato yati param gatim. One who can escape these three gates, then what is the result? He acts only for his own shreya. This is the same word, for his own benefit, and ultimately goes to the ultimate destination. And then he goes back, the famous verse, yakshastra vidamutsirja vartate kamakata nasa siddhim avapnoti nasukam naparam gatim. Now, one who gives up the injunctions of the Shastra and acts according to his whims, kamakata, according to his whims, then nasa siddhim avapnoti nasukam naparam gatim. No perfection, no happiness doesn't go to the ultimate destination. And then the final verse of the chapter, tasmat chastram pamanam te karya karya vavastito gata shastra vadanoktam karma karta miharasi. Therefore one should accept as pramana the Shastra, the revealed Shastra, and Krishna is saying the same thing here in the form of Kapila Deva. Whatever I say, that's pramana. Now Shastra really means the words of Krishna, directly or through Vyasadeva. These are divine words. That's why we accept them. And here in this verse, one should accept it as pramana, and once knowing what the pramana says, one should act that way as a matter of duty, because the Shastra is going to tell you things that are you may not want to hear. In other words, it's going against your material desire. That to stop doing things that you want to do and to do things that you may not like to do. So therefore, this is the question of duty, accepting the higher authority. Yes, I'll do it, you know, and having faith that you'll ultimately achieve this position of pure happiness. So now, going back to the situation at hand, Kapila Deva is saying, yes, I promised in my form of Narayan, when I appeared to you, that I would appear as your son, and now I fulfill that promise. And through his words in the Vedas, now Prabhupada's making that point, you know, it's a good question. Why go anywhere now? You know, God is now in your home. Why should you go wandering in search of God? Well, he's not really going wandering in search of God. He's going out in order to follow the Vedic injunction that one should take sannyas. In other words, he followed everything very carefully. This is Kardama Muni. He's like very precise. You know, he's discharged his duty as a householder. He had these children. You remember that he was like meditating. How long was it? Years. He got married, right? They knew he wanted to get married. So Swayambhuva Manu came down with his wife and daughter in tow. Actually, it turns out. And to say, well, we have this perfect daughter for you. She's very qualified, and he accepted her. And then they were married, and then he just went back to his meditation. And so Devahuti faithfully was serving, and growing the dreadlocks, you know, getting very thin, very faithfully serving. And after some point, Kardama Muni says, well, okay, I should probably discharge my duty as a husband. And so he creates this incredible, you can't call it an airplane, a flying city, flying resort, you know. And not only that, but he gives her a benediction. He goes into the water there, and she's, you know, nourished, and she comes out like a goddess of fortune. And off they go, you know, and they're enjoying here and there, and eventually these 9 daughters take birth, and the one son, you know. So then, you know, his son has appeared, and so now he's at the point of wanting to take up his natural position, which is this renunciation. So he's going to be following that. And the reason is that it's a Vedic injunction, and it's the proper thing to do. And at the same time, the benefit to the world, you know, to everyone, is that Kapila Deva is there to speak, and it's being recorded in the Bhagavatam for all time, Sankhya Yoga. He's benefiting his mother, and so this is the practice. It's very proper. Now, Prabhupada makes the point in this purport. Of course, sannyas in this age, you know, before Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, if I understand, sannyas was not prominent in our line. When you renounced, you basically took Babaji went off to Vrindavan, wandered, and did bhajan, successfully. But sannyas is in this age especially, as they told Prabhupada, it's important for preaching, because it gives, the authority is there, the example of renunciation, and the ability to impress others, to have the authoritativeness to infuse the knowledge. And so Srila Prabhupada, he was preaching throughout his household life, but when it came time for him to more fully embrace the instruction of a spiritual master to preach, he took vanaprastha, and then he took sannyas. And he very heroically, even though he was at 69 actually, when he turned 69 on the boat, not in the best of health, he relied. I was just reading that Markandeya Bhagavat Dharma poem, very moving, very important. When Prabhupada lands in Boston, and he sees the skyline, he sees the city, and he knows, everyone here is in the modes of passionate ignorance. How am I going to impress them with this message? It seems impossible. But you brought me here for some purpose, so if you like, make my power of speaking suitable for their understanding. It's such an incredible thing. And that line, if make me dance, so Lord, make me dance. I'm just a puppet, make me dance, if you like. So this is the perfection of sannyas. Remember the first quality of the sannyas, abhayam, in that 16th chapter at the beginning. That's the first word of the chapter, abhayam sattva samshuddhi, to be fearless. And you see, who could be more fearless than Prabhupada? Leaving your security, no money, no friends, weak health, and on this boat, and suffering the heart attacks, and still pressing on, And then when he came, that was another test. Very little success at first, he had to live with Mayavadi, if you listen to those early lectures, there's some lectures recorded from, early 66, and there are lectures at the Dr. Mishra's ashram. And it's not so much Krishna, it's absolute truth. He really can't let go, he really lets go in 26 Second Avenue. It's his own place, And it's almost like Prabhupada, you can hear, he's been penting up, now, his voice cracks. You remember that? He's so excited. He has his own place. He has an audience, and they seem to be hearing, like a miracle. But Prabhupada says in that prayer, I'm just a beggar, I'm so unqualified, but I have great faith in the holy name. And you can see that was his program. Just get him chanting, right? Whether he's on the Bowery or Dr. Mishra's place, Ananda Ashram or 22nd Avenue, get the kirtan going, And a certain number of them, many came and left, but some stayed and got into the kirtan, were purified, became qualified to hear the instruction. This is the idea. It's something like tilling the ground so that the seed can be planted, So that same process is still working. And that's why this nasteva, nasteva, nasteva. Hare nama, hare nama, hare nama, eva kevalam kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gataranyata. Forgive me, I got to give my little poem. If you want to achieve the supreme goal of life in this age when ascension and chaos abound, there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way that can never be found but to chant Krishna's name, but to chant Krishna's name, but to chant Krishna's name with a stout-hearted vow, and to pray, O Lord Krishna, O friend of the poor, let my head ever under your lotus feet bow. I had to have one line to make it come out of me. So, why is that? Well, it's a special benediction, first of all. Krishna, he appears in every age. He's come in this age as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he's also here in the form of the holy name. The holy name is the avatar. Krishna's name is the avatar here. So what is the avatar? Avatar is a descent of the Lord so that he makes himself available. Probably sometimes the Archa avatar. It means that Krishna's reaching out. Otherwise we have no hope. So he sends his representative, he speaks the Bhagavad Gita, he comes as a Bhagavat, and within the Bhagavatam and Kapila Dev. All of these are manifestations, they're incarnations in a way. But the most accessible of all is the holy name. There's no prerequisites. What is it? Nama karibodha tatrabida niyamatak smaranena kala. There's no time, place, circumstance, or candidate restrictions for chanting the holy name. And it's always effective. chant it even once without any understanding, without any respect, still it will not, eradicate eons of bad karma. Unfortunately, the fan is still going, and so the person, they're walking by the chanting party, they may chant Hare Krishna, or they say, "Oh, yeah, I know, those are the Hare Krishnas." They just, but then they go off and start a whole new set of sinful reactions, sinful activities. But the idea is that it's very powerful, and if one takes it seriously, then you come in contact with Krishna. Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Bhakto Abhinatva Nama Namino. The holy name of Krishna is like a Chintamani gem. It has its effect if you touch it to your consciousness. So, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, all of the rasas, it's the very personification of these relationships with Krishna. One can realize everything through it. Purna Shuddho Nitya, it is complete process, complete in and of itself, as Krishna is complete. Eternally pure, eternally liberated, because the holy name is not different from Krishna. Abhinatvam, there's no separation. Now, to realize that means you're a pure devotee. To actually realize that this is the holy name. But Prabhupada said it numerous times. And by that holy name, everything flows. We wouldn't even be interested in, no one could, this philosophy, unless we had a little bit of purification by practicing bhakti yoga centered on the chanting of the holy name. You become receptive. The intelligence becomes receptive to the message by the purification due to the chanting of the holy name. So everything is there in this chanting, and there's so many descriptions of it. So sannyas. Now sannyas is, of course, this fourth order, and very exalted and based on these qualities, chief of which is renunciation and very detachment, fearlessness. And the reason why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati resolved it, because it was an essential part of the preaching. The sannyasis didn't do so much, and he had many sannyasis. Now Prabhupada took great risk, when he began the sannyasa ashram, young men, and but he knew that it was important for the preaching. And even though we had so many failures, still the movement spread largely, or in a good part, through the efforts of his chief sannyasis and many other preachers, of course, not to deny that. But that was an essential part of it, and it still is. There are I do the Dasa Puja book every year. Every year there's more sannyasis. We have like over 120 now in the movement. I say the majority were probably of Indian origin, but not entirely. There's several Russian sannyasis who just initiated, who just took sannyasis. African, yes. Yeah.
We're working on a few Chinese.
and it's very glorious, So the injunction is still there. After 50, well, I'm older than 50. I think you're older than 50. It's hard. Maharaj is showing the way. But everyone has to see where they're at, and whatever it is, keep the process is always there. The rules and regulations that Srila Prabhupada gave us for every ashram are there. It is a great, let's say, taking up of the torch of preaching, to take sannyas and to take that responsibility. And I have the highest respect for those who are doing it and have done it and will do it. And it's a Vedic injunction. But of course, it's also a Vedic injunction that there isn't any sannyas in this age, so Prabhupada even reversed that. So, as one has to see, his own condition. We come to this Krishna consciousness in our various states of damage, and we try to work around. I have a workaround somehow to be devotees and do as much as we can for the preaching movement. So it's 8:34. Let me read this translation again. The personality of Godhead, Kapila, said, "Whatever I speak, whether directly or in the scriptures, is authoritative in all respects for the people of the world. O Muni, because I told you before that I would become your son, I have descended to fulfill this truth." Any questions, comments? Yes, ma'am.
I just have a quick comment. There was that godbrother, there's that picture of Prabhupada when he took
Yes, that's true.
picture. And one of them, I think, was Narada Muni was his name or something.
I forget.
And he was 90 years old. So they said, Prabhupada, he's 90 years old. He took sannyas. Prabhupada said, better late
Than
than
never. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, the idea is, usually it's you're a little senior, but you've got, like